On this Thursday night, tragedy on ice. A deadly incident in Ottawa when a group of teens fall into the icy Rideau River.
I know what these parents are going through. It's really difficult.
Why conditions on the river have been particularly dangerous this winter. The last missing Canadian from Hamas's attack confirmed dead.
My mom was shot in her arm, shot in her face.
The fate of Judih Weinstein as Israel's relentless siege on Gaza intensifies. Plus, icons and trailblazers, remembering some of the influential individuals who left us in 2023.
Global National with Donna Friesen. Reporting tonight, Colleen Christie.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a tragedy this holiday season. A teenage boy is dead and another is missing after 4 teens fell through the ice on Ottawa's Rideau River last night. As Abigail Bimman tells us, it adds to a growing list of ice-related accidents as warmer than normal temperatures cause dangerous conditions on our lakes and rivers.
2 young women light a candle and look on in tears as police search the Rideau River. An SUV sits blocked off by police tape, nearby what looks like boots, a shirt, and a cap. 4 teens fell through the ice Wednesday night. 1 boy and a girl got themselves out, taken to hospital with mild hypothermia. During a search in difficult conditions that saw a police diver hurt in serious but stable condition, police found another teen boy's body. The search for the 3rd boy continued Thursday.
We lost an oldest son 7 years ago. He was 36, and he was killed in a motorcycle accident, so I know what these parents are going through. It's really difficult. So for me, it kind of like, I feel extra bad for the parents. It's really sad.
Terry Purstill lives nearby and walks this path every day and says while there's very little ice and fast-running water now,
It was solid just the other day.
Not only have temperatures been warmer than usual so far this winter, they've also fluctuated above and below zero. That affects how the ice freezes. Experts call it dirty ice and say it's both unsafe and unpredictable.
Very likely to crack or break under any sort of pressure. The only real way to tell if the ice is thick enough for a person or a vehicle is to use an auger.
The Life Saving Society says 35% of drownings happen between October and May. Ottawa's is just the latest. Tuesday, the body of a 61-year-old Calgary man was pulled from the Bow River.
Police believe that the victim was taking a photo of something and when he fell through the ice.
Also Tuesday, the 3 bodies of the Pelsma family were found after their off-road vehicle went through the ice west of Edmonton. They had been reported missing when they didn't show up for an event Christmas Day. And north of Quebec City Friday, a 4-year-old fell into the river while sledding with her mom. The search continues. And with winter staying warmer.
Overall, for much of the country, because of an El Nino pattern in place, we're looking at milder than average temperatures.
Experts urge everyone to be careful around any water, even if the ice looks solid. Abigail Bimman, Global News, Ottawa.
The military says 10 people have been rescued in the Northwest Territories after a small aircraft crashed near a diamond mine about 300 kilometers northeast of Yellowknife. Officials say the aircraft, operated by Air Tindy, went down Wednesday afternoon. 8 were injured but are said to be showing signs of improvement. The Royal Canadian Air Force helped parachute rescue personnel to the site last night, with helicopters brought in this morning to move people out. After nearly 3 months of uncertainty, Judih Weinstein Haggai, the only Canadian citizen still missing following Hamas's October 7th attack on Israel, has been confirmed dead. The 70-year-old was believed to have been taken hostage in Gaza, but today her family confirmed she was killed on the day of the attacks. Reggie Cecchini now with reaction to her death and the urgent calls for action as danger for hostages and civilians increases in Gaza.
This was one of the final moments of a routine life for Judih Weinstein, a morning walk around her kibbutz. Only hours later, this 70-year-old mother of 4 and grandmother of 7 would become one of 1,200 others who died as Hamas militants stormed southern Israel. Her daughter telling Global News weeks after her suspected abduction by Hamas of the horror her mother endured that day.
My mom was shot in her arm, shot in her face.
Her last words can be heard pleading with paramedics for help. Her death was announced Thursday online by the kibbutz she lived in. She was a U.S. Canadian Israeli, a former teacher turned poet and wellness facilitator, and a wife of Judih Haggai, also a victim of this attack. U.S. President Joe Biden saying in a statement that the families had been living through hell for weeks and no family should have to endure such an ordeal.
We're all mourning today.
The bodies still lie with Hamas, who has yet to release a statement, but has noted time is running out.
Every day that goes by is a day too long that they've been held by Hamas in the tunnels under Gaza.
With so many hostage whereabouts unknown, the public outrage at the Israeli government is unrelenting, with calls for it to do more than just respond with military power, which to now shows no sign of letting up. Thursday brought fresh airstrikes to the south of Gaza, the same region residents were told to escape to for safety. This woman screams in a desperate attempt to find her family in this overburdened hospital. The pain is also being felt in the occupied West Bank, where the United Nations is decrying recent raids and violence, noting an ongoing deterioration of human rights.
The use of unnecessary or disproportionate force by the Israeli security forces are extremely troubling.
Even as Israel promises this to be a long and intense campaign, a rare moment of contrition from the IDF after a December 24th strike injured and killed children in Gaza. The unintended consequences of a conflict with a growing toll. Reggie Cecchini, Global News, Washington.
The United States has approved a $250 million military assistance package for Ukraine in what could be the last funding available without new approval from Congress. President Zelensky thanked the White House today for supplies he says will cover Ukraine's most pressing needs. Air defense, ammunition, and anti-tank weapons are all being delivered from existing Pentagon stocks. The move bypasses the need for congressional approval after U.S. lawmakers defeated an emergency spending measure that would have provided billions to Kyiv earlier this month. And in the U.S., Maine's top election official has now blocked former President Donald Trump from the 2024 U.S. presidential primary election ballot. The decision by Maine's Secretary of State ruled Trump was constitutionally ineligible for inciting insurrection due to his attempts to overturn the results of the 2020 election. The decision is sure to be appealed. It follows a similar decision made by Colorado's Supreme Court last week for the same reasons. The nation's high court could resolve for all states whether Trump can run again. The push to snuff out smoking. Coming up, the new pressure on Ottawa for a lifetime ban on cigarette sales. With the hope of creating a smoke-free generation, health experts are calling on Ottawa to adopt a lifetime ban on cigarette sales to anyone born after 2008. A similar policy is being backtracked in New Zealand, but as Neetu Garcha reports, that hasn't stopped other countries, including the UK, from proposing similar restrictions.
Health experts are urging Canada to get even tougher on tobacco.
Tobacco remains a leading preventable cause of disease and death in Canada. Right now, 12% of Canadians smoke. That's far too high.
Rob Cunningham with the Canadian Cancer Society says they've long supported the proposal, now before Ottawa, to implement a ban on cigarette sales to anyone born after 2008 and raise the federal minimum age for purchase of tobacco to 21.
A tobacco-free generation proposal shouldn't be the only thing that we do. You know, we need to have higher tobacco taxes. We need to have fewer retail outlets selling tobacco products, to ban all remaining promotion of tobacco companies.
Cunningham highlights federal statistics that an estimated 46,000 Canadians die from tobacco use each year, and it causes 30% of all cancer deaths. He says the ban should include vaping products increasingly used by youth and supports the country's target of less than 5% tobacco use by 2035. But critics call the idea a major policy overreach.
It's unworkable, and it's not really going to achieve what people hope it's going to achieve.
Brock University professor Dan Malik believes the proposed ban is like prohibition with a history of failure and is likely to strengthen illegal networks of sales in the midst of a toxic drug crisis.
If we go down this road of banning tobacco to certain people, it's going to add to that crisis.
Under Britain's proposed legislation, anyone 14 or older will never be able to legally buy cigarettes or any other tobacco product. New Zealand plans to scrap its policy, believed to have inspired the UK and Canada. Health Canada told Global News an analysis of data collected, including from public consultations, is underway, adding it's considering measures being looked at or adopted in other jurisdictions. Neetu Garcha, Global News, Vancouver.
Still ahead, the newest names to receive Canada's highest honour. Governor-General Mary Simon has announced 78 new appointees to the Order of Canada, one of the country's highest civilian honours. The list includes former Much Music and CBC host George Stroumboulopoulos, as well as Wilton Littlechild, a former Cree chief and Truth and Reconciliation Commissioner. He played a key role in bringing Pope Francis to Canada in 2022, where the pontiff apologized for the harm residential schools caused. Francine Lemire, a gold medalist at the 1988 Paralympics and former president and CEO of the College of Family Physicians of Canada, is also among the recipients. Canadian basketball star Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been named 2023's Canadian Press Male Athlete of the Year.
Both teams crashing offensive glass. The three, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
The 25-year-old from Hamilton led Canada to its first ever medal at the FIBA World Cup and its first spot at the Olympics since 2000. He also became the first Canadian since Steve Nash to make the All-NBA first team. Next, paying tribute to some of the exceptional people we lost this year. Few of us expect to leave a lasting impact on our communities, let alone the world, but many have done just that. Whether through service, sport, or entertainment, those whose work was extraordinary leave behind an inspiring legacy for generations to come. A look back now at some of the prominent people we said goodbye to in 2023.
You could read my mind, love. What a tale my thoughts could tell. Just like an old-time movie about a ghost from a wishing well.
I love the work, and I love it so much. It has to radiate itself. Somehow it has to make that connection.
There was a time in this fair land when the railroad did not run, when the wild, majestic mountains stood alone against the sun.
That I will faithfully execute.
And then along came Jimmy Carter, and my life's been an adventure ever since.
It just shows that when we work together, we can attain great success for the economic engine of Canada. That a woman can do anything a man can do.
As to this serious question of insulin.
I thought we were the party of the John Diefenbaker Bill of Rights. I thought that's who we are.
I suggest Canada's greatest national treasure is our parliamentary system of democracy.
We have to come to grips in America with our love affair with weapons.
Yes, back then I used humor as a defense mechanism. Thank God I don't do that anymore.
It was just funny all the way through, all 237 episodes.
Do you think it'd be fun if we got married? I never wanted to be away from her.
When the going gets rough and I can make it.
We're gonna make our dreams come true. Do it our
way. Guys like us, we had it made. Those were the days.
Don't you think Jamie would look good in that?
Oh, look at that, an alert. I'm probably trending already.
If I were a rich man, all day long I pity, pity, bum. If I were a wealthy man.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
One only remembers to turn on the light.
George Reed, regarded as the outstanding fullback in the Canadian Football League.
He was the face of hockey in the 60s.
Here comes Hall in, a shot, he scored!
And I knew how we were changing the game, just by the way we were playing.
This is Jim Brown, the most devastating ball carrier in the history of football.
You must try to ignore that it means more than that. Take a load off, baby. You put the load right on me.
I left my heart in San Francisco.
Nothing compares. Nothing compares to you. Nothing compares. You're handsome.
You were pretty queen of New York City. When the band finished playing, they held out for more. Sinatra was swinging, all the junk they were singing. We kissed on the corner, then danced through the night.
Raindrops keep falling on my head. And just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed, nothing seems to fit.
Don't you ever ask them why. If they told you, you would cry. So just look at them and sigh, and know they love you.
Sometimes I think it's a sin, and I feel like I'm winning when I'm losing again.
Before we leave you tonight, there's one more person we'd like to pay tribute to. She was one of our own. Doriana Temo, who helped launch Global National in 2001, died in November from breast cancer at 64. On top of the work she did for this newscast, before retiring in 2016 as news director, she was already a long-time trailblazing journalist on air and in the field. She began her career in the late 1970s, working for decades as a respected reporter and anchor. She will be greatly missed. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.